So 2018 has been quite the year for gaming. There's definitely been a lot of huge releases, and I've struggled to really make this list. My top 5 games of the year. In 2016, 2017, I had a clear-cut winner that really no other game kind of came close to. In 2016, it was Uncharted 4, and 2017, it was Horizon Zero Dawn, and those were kind of just a step above the rest of the games for me in that given year. But in this year, all the kind of top 5 games are pretty close together. Like, there's a couple that stand out, obviously, but I just feel like it's a lot harder to decide my game of the year this year. I think Sony delivered in a big way with their exclusive titles, which definitely helped shape this year into an awesome year of games. Before I get into the list as well, I did want to give a quick shout out to Spyro the Reignited trilogy. It's not actually going to be on the list for me, but I'm still currently playing through it, and I just feel like it's a perfect reimagining of the old classic Spyro games. So whether you've played Spyro before or not, I still think it's well worth a playthrough on PS4, and it looks absolutely stunning. The remake looks great, so yeah, I'd highly recommend playing that. And yeah, I'm going to give one honorable mention before we get into the top 5, and that honorable mention is to an old classic game, but it came out on PS4 this year. I had never played it before, and that's Shadow of the Colossus. So yeah, I never really got the chance to play this game when I was younger, so I was absolutely delighted when I heard it was coming to PS4. And some of the trailers and shit looked awesome, so I was really excited to play it, obviously. This is a really special game, and I actually feel bad for leaving it off the list. But like I said, it has been a crazy year. I think this definitely would have been in my top 5 last year. Yeah, so there was a lot of people that didn't like The Last Guardian for like the chunky gameplay, and Shadow of the Colossus does have some of that as well, but I feel like the spectacle of both the games kind of makes up for that in so many different ways. In Shadow of the Colossus, going from like the mythical beast to mythical beast and traveling around on your horse, you kind of have that connection with the horse as well, which is really cool. But yeah, you travel around from beast to beast and take them down. Some of the boss fights are just absolutely insane. They're so much fun to do. So yeah, I think Shadow of the Colossus is a truly special experience that if you haven't played it before, you definitely need to play this. It shouldn't be missed. I would highly recommend getting this if you haven't played it when it came out on PS2 or whatever. Top 5 games of the year for 2018. Let's get into it. So opening up the list this year is a unique game. It's definitely not like anything else that has come out in the past few years. It is A Way Out. So it was definitely one of my favorite series to record this year. Like, I had a blast playing through it with Gamewright, the way you had to figure out things together and escape the prison, and the fun combat that you had when you were on the run as well. This was definitely a game worthy of making the list to me, just because it was so unique and special, and I absolutely love Joseph Fares as well. He's an awesome dude, and his passion for the game really, like, drew me into the game, because I was, like, super excited, seeing how excited he was for the game. So going co-op only definitely was a brave move, but it really was the only way that this game could have been done, like the way the story was told, the way everything was done. It's truly, you can see after you finish the game that it was the only option. And yeah, I feel like the story behind it all as well was definitely pretty awesome. It was kind of crazy in parts, like, but there was a couple of big bombshells along the way that actually just completely changes the game. Like, the way you play it, everything just completely changes it, including the ending. The ending's fucking insane. No, I don't think anyone saw that coming. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything just in case you haven't played it yet, but it made for an epic showdown. It's a short campaign, but it's absolutely a blast to play through with a friend, so I think it's definitely worth the money. It's not like it's a full price title either. I think it was 30 bucks on release. I'm not positive, it might have been 40, but I think it was 30. It was half price, like, on release. So the fact that your partner doesn't even need to have the game as well is like a pretty huge thing. Like, your partner doesn't need to have the game. If you have it, you can just basically share the game with him. So yeah, Way Out, number 5. Let's move on to number 4. So fun is definitely the word that I'd use to describe Spider-Man. I think that this game was just fun. It was quick Arkham-like combat, a fun story that, like, it actually gets more in depth and plays out better than I expected it to. I loved the characters in the game. I feel like they actually all had, like, their own special thing. Like, Miles was a great character, Peter Parker was a great character, even the villain. Well, I don't want to spoil it just in case you haven't played the game, but, like, he's an awesome character as well. The main villain I'm talking about. It has those typical funny Spider-Man moments, but it also has, like, super heartfelt conversations and moments throughout the game. So I don't think Spider-Man's going to win many awards this year because of, obviously I talked about this, how stacked the year was. But it still deserves a lot of praise. Insomniac made a hell of a game with their first try. This was really their first dip into making a Superman game, or not a Superman game, a superhero game, I mean to say. I do want a Superman game though. Rocksteady, let us know, man. Come on. But yeah, it was their first real dip into the Superman, I just said it's Superman again, superhero franchise. So I think this success definitely leaves the door open for many more superhero games to come, which I'm definitely not going to be mad about. I think Marvel are going to see the success of this game and definitely dip their toes in a little bit more. There's going to be a couple more superhero games coming out, definitely on PS5 and the next Xbox, whatever that'll be. I think there'll be quite a few. So we're now into the top 3 games of the year. Detroit Become Human is my number 3. I feel like a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me having it this high on the list, but I just feel like it definitely deserves to be here. The sheer effort put into how many different ways this game can turn out is actually quite incredible when you go back and look at like other people's playthroughs. I did that after I finished my own playthrough. I went back and looked at a couple other people's, and just how different it can turn out is actually insane. Like, this isn't like some Telltale game where your decisions don't really matter in the end. In this game, they really affect like how your character's story plays out completely. So you have 3 different characters, they all link together in the same story, the same struggling world, and these characters can end up killing each other, or they can end up like teaming up together, which is kind of cool. Like, you decide what you want to do, and sometimes your actions have consequences that you didn't actually see coming, and it all depends on the decisions that you make throughout the game. And the decisions to make aren't easy either. That's what makes me love this game so much. Like, some of the chases and the gameplay moments are actually quite intense as well, but where this game really shines is the relationships between the characters. I feel like Connor and Hank, that relationship is so good in the game. I absolutely love it. And it can play out, obviously, as I said, a number of different ways based on I can't speak English, the decisions that you make. Kara and Alice's story as well. And then you have Marcus and North, and the story he had with the carer at the start. I can't remember his name. What was his name? I don't know. And all the characters you bump into along the way, the side characters that can either help or hinder your journey. I definitely feel like it's Quantic Dream's best game so far. It's better than Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls in my opinion. So yeah, let me know if you agree with that in the comments. I'd actually like to know what you think, how you'd rank Quantic Dream's best games, because I feel like this is definitely the best one. And I feel like it's a big step above as well. It's like a good bit better than Heavy Rain. Before we get into the top 2 games of the year, I'm sure you already know what they are, but I just want to say that I really did have the toughest fucking time deciding which of these 2 was my game of the year, because I loved them both. I really did. I absolutely loved them both. And I had just an awful time trying to decide. I came to my conclusion in the end, but it was not an easy decision. And I'd love to hear your guys' top 5 in the comments below, and what you thought deserved Game of the Year. I'd be interested to kind of see how many people had one as Game of the Year and the other as the Game of the Year, and how many had neither as Game of the Year. I'm sure there's a couple out there that didn't have either of these games as the Game of the Year. But with that in mind, let's get into the top 2. So as I said, it was not an easy decision, but I've went with Red Dead Redemption as number 2. But really, there's not much in it. This could have easily been my Game of the Year. I don't know. It was just a really hard decision to make. I had to go one way or the other. To me, the world in this game is better than any open world game we've ever seen before. It's just absolutely, the detail, the sheer level of detail is absolutely insane. But that's not even what makes this game special to me. What makes this game special is the characters. The fucking characters, man. They have so many good characters in this game. Arthur Morgan is an absolutely fantastic protagonist. I feel like his story was actually even better than John Marston's. And I feel like it was a good bit better than John Marston's story as well. I like John Marston as a character, but I feel like Arthur just had a different level of depth to him that John didn't have. And he was just an absolutely fantastic protagonist. And Dutch van der Linde, to me, is one of the greatest characters in gaming history. Don't at me. He's one of the greatest characters in gaming history. And seeing his downfall in this game and the way they told it, it was just absolutely glorious. It truly was. And not just the 2 main characters, not just Dutch and Arthur, but they gave every single character in the gang, they give them a role in the game, and they make them all memorable in their own way. It's truly a testament to how Rockstar have come how far they've come as developers, and the game that they've built here. It truly is magnificent. And Red Dead's definitely not perfect. I feel like the gameplay could have been a lot better. It was underwhelming to me, to be honest. But everything else was done pretty much perfectly. The story along the way, it just had emotional, epic, fun, frustrating moments. And you really knew in the end that Dutch's promises of a better life in Tahiti weren't coming. And you knew that because you've played Red Dead Redemption. Even in the end, when it didn't come to fruition, it was still heartbreaking. And the way they told it was absolutely beautiful. But the ending as well at the same time was a small bit satisfying. The game is a lot better than the first game in my opinion. I really do think that. I think it's a lot better than Red Dead Redemption 1. And Arthur, I feel like this game needed to be made as well, because it makes Red Dead Redemption 1 better as well. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but this game makes Red Dead Redemption 1 better. And as I said, Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely not a perfect game, but it's pretty damn good. And that's the way it is. So God of War on PS4 took a huge risk by completely changing the way that God of War plays, the way it looks. They completely changed the style of God of War. And it turned out to be the right decision. Clearly it turned out to be the right decision. I think it was probably a needed change as well. I only played God of War 3. I didn't play 1 or 2. I know people have played all 3 of them. Like, they might have a different opinion on that, but I feel like it turned God of War from a good franchise into a great franchise. And if they keep this format going forward, which obviously I think they will after the critical success that they received, yeah, they're going to make a God of War 5 or 2, seen as it is kind of like a rebrand. They might just call it God of War 2. When I first set out on the journey with Kratos and his son, I really didn't expect it to be so brilliant. Like, I liked God of War 3, but it was never really like one of my favorite games or anything. I felt like Kratos was lacking as a character. I felt like the story wasn't like that deep, but it was still enjoyable gameplay. The story behind it was like, it wasn't deep, but it was still fun, and Kratos' revenge was pretty much the only thing driving him forward. But now he had a son, so along the way in this journey, you have to protect your son. Obviously, you can't just be thinking about revenge. He started a new life with his son, and along the journey with him, you encounter pretty epic fights with dragons and trolls and even Thor's sons. So obviously there was some epic boss fights and set pieces, and every moment that involved the world serpent to me was absolutely incredible. That thing was so beautiful on the screen. The graphics in this game, the visuals were absolutely out of this world, and seeing that goddamn beast on the screen was truly beautiful. The boss fights with Baldur also, they were just epic. And I feel like those were some of the best boss fights I've had in recent memory. But to me, behind all the epic boss fights and the great encounters was a perfect story being told between Kratos and his son. Kratos was no longer this one-dimensional angry character that only cared about vengeance. But yeah, the story of getting to the highest peak to set his mother's ashes was filled with madness along the way, but also with emotional moments between Kratos and Atreus. One of my favorite moments in the game was when he tells him he's a god. I am a god, boy, from a land far away from here. And then Atreus' reaction was absolutely awesome as well, when he was like asking, can I turn into an animal? And that was actually kind of foreshadowing the bombshell at the end as well. And it's kind of what I named my dog after as well. If you know, my dog's name is Loki. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Norse mythology. That's why I love this game as well so much, I feel like, because just all the stuff with Thor and Loki and Thor's sons and Baldur and Freya. I think it was just a nice needed change from the Spartan Greek gods and stuff like that. And so yeah, my game of the year for 2018 is God of War on PS4. And I can't wait until next year, and we'll have a new list at the end of next year, and hopefully it's as good as this one, because I feel like this was an absolutely epic year for gaming. And long may it continue.
The truth. The truth. I am a god, boy. From another land far from here. When I came to these shores, I chose to live as a man. But the truth is, I was born a god. And so were you.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Let me know your own list in the comments down below. and I'll see you guys for another video very soon. Peace out.